I am a third-year PhD student. My research is about the relation between healthcare students' food choices and the advice they offer with regards to diet to patients. When I went with a career advisor, that I realized that as PhD students we have a myriad of opportunities to take to broaden our experience and skills, and we could apply to these kind of words. So BEST stands for, the acronym stands for Building Experience and Skills Traveling Scholarship. So it allows you to go to a different country, to a different institution, to broaden your skills and experience on a different environment than your PhD. Well, I decided to apply because I've been always keen on explore different environments. I was not sure that I wanted to go through the academia path after my PhD. So if this award would allow me to explore different arenas, I wanted to explore what can I do with my professional background, for example, which is nutrition, and not necessarily in a research environment. So I realized that I talked with my supervisors about this, and they said that actually if I won this award, it would mean for me to take a critical distance from my research. So that would be helpful to then later on add some good insights, critical insights to my research, but also be able to find more about what I wanted to do after my PhD. I was indeed a bit worried about having time off for my PhD, because I don't think that as PhD students you can ever switch off from your PhD. You're always thinking about it. But when I spoke with my supervisors and my potential host and my careers advisor, I realized that actually the PhD is not only about writing your research, it's not only about focusing in one topic, because you need to think on what you're going to do next. And if this opportunity will mean for you to first have this critical distance, but also explore the skills that you have, the skills you might want to increase. You first need to get support letter from your supervisors. And this is a crucial bit, because actually your supervisors might know someone in the field that might be your host. So it's okay to talk with them about this. It's very important. And then also you need to, so I briefly put together a document where I explain the goals that I wanted to achieve in this institution in the way of SMART goals. And then I talk with the person who is involved in global engagement in the School of Health Sciences, which is the school that I belong. But also often I was in contact with my careers advisor to kind of look at potential links that the university might have and how to use my professional skills to network and find about potential institutions to get there. And so it was in LinkedIn when I found some echo to my proposal, because I know a colleague who is involved in Nutrition Education Network, and the University of Auckland is an active member. And so they were very keen in the project that I was proposing. So my project was about communication and research dissemination. And so they were happy to take me on board. We exchanged some emails, some video calls, and then I put together a whole amount of budget. Well, I broke down a budget where I needed to put flights, how the flights were going to be, and things from accommodation, health insurance, if I need a visa or not, then the expenses I was going to incur and all of that. And after you think about all of those things, every detail, then you put together the application with your support letter, and then you need the support letter from your host, and then you can apply. So what I learned from the process of applying was that to put an application together to get funding, you need to think about every detail. Not only the skills that you will need, the skills that you would like to gain, but also in a personal matter, what you need to get there. So think about budget, think about what you're going to do when you arrive there, think about how to interact with people, think about your personal skills to gain their knowledge, their trust, so you can carry on with the project. I also learned that students, well, us as students don't know a lot about these kind of opportunities, but we have a lot of support around the university, starting from our supervisors, careers advisors, people within your school, people that colleagues in your same office that might have a similar experience and can help you to put together the application. And I also learned that it is important to talk to people so that you can make sense of your ideas, you can talk about them, and you can put together a project that will really help you to increase your experience. What I went there to do was to put together a research dissemination framework, because within the discipline of nutrition and dietetics at the University of Auckland, they were worried about how to connect with the public, how we connect with the audiences, and so they thought that although they have the experience and the knowledge, they didn't know how to get to the targeted audiences. And so what I did was exploring with the researchers what their current research dissemination practices were. So I interviewed some of them, I put together all their thoughts, and I organized a roundtable with some of them to brainstorm some ideas of the proposal that I had to increase these research dissemination practices. But I also liaise with different departments, such as the media department, that organize a training seminar for researchers to know how to communicate the research in an understandable way to the public, because sometimes that is a problem with the researchers, that we don't know anything more about jargon beyond our jargon. But we needed to really communicate the message in an understandable, clear way. And I also liaise with the Department of Public Programs, which put together public lectures twice a year, so that researchers could go and directly talk to audiences and have an engaging audience there, so they talk about their research and how useful these nutrition and dietetics topics might be and relevant for the public. So I created this framework where I put together links and I put tools for researchers to grab and to increase these research dissemination practices. So what I can get from that experience is mostly positive, really. I feel very lucky that I got the chance, that I was able to put together this application, and I was able to get that award, to go out there and explore a different country, a faraway country, that even though it was an English-speaking country, it had a very different culture, a very different way of doing things. So I feel really lucky about it. I got a wonderful experience of something that I might do after I complete my PhD. And so I got an idea of what are the skills that I need to do this type of work. And that's quite valuable for you to take away, and for you to then can put together all the kinds of applications for your postdoctoral aspirations. On the positive side, I got to network with a lot of people. I got to talk about professional aspects and personal aspects with different people there, international people from New Zealand, and all of that. And on the not so positive side, perhaps it was that I was in an office that didn't have windows, and because it was winter there, it felt a bit perhaps gloomy at times. But then it was compensated, because in front of the university and the faculty that I was were the Auckland domains, so I could easily just get a walk, take some sun bath, and then come back and continue the work. But actually, I think overall the experience was quite positive. It even helped to take some time off from my PhD. I wouldn't see that as a negative. So I can only say positive things about this experience, really.